Since my last video, a lot has changed in Park City. It has quickly swifted 180 degrees. Traffic, oh my God. I feel like I'm driving in downtown Manhattan in New York. The crowds are so bad at Park City Mountain Resort that they even made an Instagram account about it, at Epic Ski Lines. And if you're not following Wasatch_mountain memes, you're missing out. What's up? My name is Nicole, and in today's video, we are talking about the pros and the cons of living in Park City, the tips that nobody's going to tell you, the secrets, the good, the bad, the ugly, because a lot has changed since the pandemic and the last 2 years that I shot my previous pros and cons video. The first pro of living in Park City is obviously the convenience. It does not get better than Park City. Park City is a freaking paradise, okay? We are so close to Salt Lake City International Airport, which just got a complete makeover. It's bigger, better than ever. There are direct flights that are flying here internationally and all over the world. You're 35 minutes to an amazing ski town. Get that in Colorado, and you can't get that in Jackson. How close, and the proximity that you are to a big city is untouchable, right? You need to go to Costco, you just drive down to Salt Lake. You need to go to IKEA in Salt Lake. Want to go to the Apple Store? Salt Lake. You want to go to City Creek and have fancier shopping? Salt Lake. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. 30 minutes. So easy to get to. It's like living in a bubble, because Park City is kind of like living in a bubble. And then there's like Park City, and then there's like Utah. We're in like a bubble. But sometimes you need to get out of the bubble, and we leave the bubble, we go to Costco. Second pro about living in Park City is the lifestyle. Duh. If you are an active family, if you like the outdoors, if you like to ski, if you also like luxury, and you love small town feel with a big city vibe and big city perks, no brainer. You're literally stepping outside your back door into paradise. Your garage becomes your trailhead. Literally open your back door and you could click into skis and be skiing on your lunch break. You just jump on the bus, up for a few laps, then you go home, continue your day for work. Amazing for people who are entrepreneurs, who run their own businesses, who work remotely, and who love the outdoors. It has 11 ski resorts. Yes, I said 11. There's a few that people are not talking about yet. Up north, you've got Beaver, you've got Powder Mountain, you've got Snow Basin. Now, Snow Basin and Powder Mountain are kind of what like Park City used to be 30 years ago. So if you're like over Vail, over the crowds, go check out those areas. They are going to start getting developed though. They're gonna start growing. So just keep that in mind. The longer you wait, the more things will change. Southern Utah, you've got Bryan Head and Eagle Mountain. Bryan Head is amazing. It's so cool. It's got red rocks, and when the white snow hits it, it's the perfect palette. However, Bryan Head is flat. It's not a very steep mountain. Eagle Mountain is an interesting mountain because part of it is really flat and the other part is super steep and actually has awesome skiing, but they're kind of disconnected. So like they don't flow very well. And that resort is located in Beaver. The Salt Lake City, you have 4, Brighton Solitude up Big Cottonwood, and you've got the Snowbird down up Little Cottonwood Canyon, and then on the Provo side of the mountain by Timpanogos, you've got Sundance, which is in between Provo and Heber. Then you've also got Woodward Park City, and Woodward Park City is more of an action sports facility hub. So if you're a big kid at heart, or you've got little kids that love skateboarding, BMXing, free skiing, or want to be a freestyle skier in the park, the pipe like Shaun White, bam, that's your place. We've got our new ski resort going in, which is the Mayflower Mountainside, which is going to be Deer Valley's neighbor on the Deer Crest side overlooking the Jordanelle. That's breaking ground. So if you ever driving to Heber and you see all that construction, that's what's happening. Boom, brand new ski area going in right there. Want to know more about the Mayflower Mountainside? You can check out, I have a couple videos on it, The Ultimate Buyer's Guide to Park City and Deer Valley versus Park City. I talk about the secret hidden resort that nobody's talking about. So check out that video too if you kind of want to know a little bit more about this Mayflower thing. Got so much access to hiking, walking, mountain biking trails. Trails are actually in Utah. Well, in Utah as a whole, we have over 3,000 trails. Park City, you have over 400 miles, and Park City is becoming like this huge mountain biking spot. Road biking. People are road biking, they're running triathlons. There's a funny running joke in Park City. In Park City, like I did myself, there's a funny joke that says you either become an Olympian or you become a real estate agent. a runner and you want to know, like, well, where do I run in the winter? There are so many outdoor trails to go running. Those popular ones are Quinn's Trailhead, Brown Valley Trailhead, Road Trailhead, Hill Trailhead, Branch. And if you want to know more about where the trails are and all the mountain trails and how to navigate that and what's groomed and what's not groomed, and I'm a cross-country skier versus an alpine skier, I like to fat tire bike, go to mountaintrails.org. There's also the Rail Trail, Deer Park, Ontario Mine Trailhead up at Deer Valley. 3 is the free transit system. You really don't need to rent a car unless you want to, because you're going to drive around. You can basically get around on Park City's free bus system. Now, something to note that there is changes. Park City's transit system does not come out to Summit Park anymore. They made a partnership with something called High Valley Transit. So these are the purple and blue vans that you see driving around all over Park City, and they will actually come pick you up at your house. So if you live all the way out in Summit Park, you can call High Valley Transit, ride. High Valley Transit operates more out in the Snyderville Basin area, and I do even believe that they kind of go to Camas as well. And then the Park City Transit system really operates only from Kimball Junction into Deer Valley now. Many high-end hotels will have airport transportation for you, or you can hire an airport transportation service or a luxury car service, or you can just Uber or Lyft. 4 apps that you need to know for getting around if you're going to do public transit. The first app is called Canyons Connect, and it specifically is only for the Canyons Village area. It is called Park City Go. It's the easiest way to pay for your parking if you're parking in Old Town. My Stop Mobile is everything you need to know if you need to hop on the bus and use the bus system. And then High Valley Transit specifically operates for the Snyderville Basin area. Pro number 5, we have our own TV station, we have our own radio station, we have our own newspaper. So if you really want to feel like a local, tune into those. Park City Television was founded in 1987, and KPCW is our radio station. If you really want to live like a local, listen to the radio station. They've been on air for 41 years in Park City. The park record has been going since 1880. And then we've got a really cool little historic piece, the Egyptian Theater in Park City. And they'll actually do plays here. And one play that's really funny is called The Follies. But if you're a real estate agent or if you're from California, just know they're gonna make fun of you. So it's a really fun, loving, light play, and they make fun of everybody in Park City and like what Park City used to be and what Park City is now. So that's kind of how you get into the local scoop of stuff. We're kind of like decades behind the actual world in terms of technology. The fact that we have like a radio station, I mean, I don't know, like there's the internet now, right? But I'm just a millennial, so what do I know? 4th pro is Park City's a Paradise. And if you know the author Scott Miller, he says this in a podcast with Rachel Hollis, Park City is a paradise. It's also a place where you have so much money that you don't even know what Salt Lake is. You've like forgotten about it, and it's just a place you pass through on the way to the airport. Or you're somebody who lives here but you still commute to Salt Lake because it's so close, can work remotely, you're an entrepreneur, you started your own business, you moved here and then started a small mom and pop shop like a restaurant or a coffee shop or a yoga studio or a Pilates studio. You're a bartender or you're a ski bum and you work 3 jobs just to pay your rent in order to be able to live in Park City. That's how much of a paradise it is. If you feel like you might be in a little bit of culture shock to the rest of the state of Utah, our own little bubble. Something to remember is we're still the most affordable ski town and we're still the most convenient ski town. But I'm telling you guys, the affordability is not gonna last. So if you don't make moves now, you are going to be paying double. And I mean double as in like pretty soon, like maybe next year, maybe this summer, I don't know. But prices are going up. The longer you wait, the more you'll pay. So you gotta get on the saddle up and make moves. There are a million gyms to choose from. So if you're coming here, where am I gonna work out? Where are my people? Like, I'm a Pilates person. Where are my Pilates studios? Where are my Pilates people? Where are my yoga people? Where are my CrossFit people? Where are my gym people, right? It's such a healthy environment. Everybody's super fit. We've got Orange Theory. We have tons of Pilates studios, tons of yoga studios. Park City Yoga Collective is my favorite hot yoga studio. I love them. They'll have cycling clubs, mountain biking clubs. We've got 2 major gyms in Park City, Silver Mountain Sports Club and the Snyderville Recreation Center. But then we also have a few mom and pop shops as well, like Athletic Republic. We've got F45 Training, which is Mark Wahlberg's CrossFit functional training. We've got hair salons. Like, ladies, don't worry. We have so many hair salons. We've got anything from smaller hair salons. Some of the more popular ones are like Lunatic Fringe, Lit Salon, Spectrum Salon, Fusion Salon. And then you've got kind of like your hair girl who rents like a booth. Tons of those people all over too. So there are great places to get your hair. If you don't find one in Park City, like, look how close Salt Lake is. There's a really cool hair gal down in Pleasant Grove. Her name's Jessie. It's Jay-Z Styles is her salon. Amazing. You got to check it out if you're a lady. Moral of the story is, you will find your people. Don't worry. You will find somebody. Live here. Fifth pro is the shopping, the dining, the nightlife, the luxury. If you've ever been to Colorado, you might kind of know, like, this is just my personal opinion, but like driving around Breckenridge and Summit County and Frisco, it's like there's like really rundown area, and then all of a sudden there's like multi-million-dollar homes. You don't have that in Park City. Everything in Park City is really nice. There's not run down areas. Over 200 restaurants in the entire Park City, in Park City. And 40 of them sit on Main Street. Range anywhere from Deer Valley to Park City Mountain Resort to Kimball Junction. Out to the Jeremy Ranch area, they've got like Billy Blanco's and O'Shucks out there. Looking for the least crowded grocery store in Park City, out to the market in Pine Brook. Market's in town. That's really expensive. And then there's a fresh market also in town that's very expensive. And then you've got Smith's and Walmart. And you've got Whole Foods out at the junction, but Smith's is so busy all the time. So if you just kind of want like private shopping, go to the A Fresh Market out at Pine Brook. New Park and Redstone are totally underrated. And in a few years, I think this is going to become a really, really, really popular area. Like, the whole entire commercial space for this, they built all this commercial stuff. And these places sat vacant for like years and years and years and years. And now we've got a cycling studio in there, a waxing studio in there, a hair salon, a real estate place. Oh, the sad thing is that Jupiter Bowl went out of business. There's no bowling alley anymore. They turned it into like a workspace that you can rent, and it's like super expensive. It's like one of those like pay $300 a month to rent your office, that type of thing. It's like that community workspace they turned it into. Such a shame. I'm so mad. It should be a bowling alley. I miss the bowling alley. Redstone and New Park is just totally underrated in my opinion, because you've got the ultimate walkability. You've got shops, you've got dining, you've got restaurants, you've got trails, you can go biking. Like, it's just a fun, cool, little hip, urban, multi-use area, and it's completely underrated because Old Town always outshines it, but Old Town also has a lot of tourists all the time. The part is that businesses just keep opening up shop in this area, so things are really starting to fill out. 27 bars alone in Park City. So we got nightlife, we got the shopping, we got the fun, we got the food. We have the outdoors to back it up. Bar for everybody in Park City. Really upscale, from an upscale cocktail bar to like a dive bar to like a club, and laid back breweries. So whatever your vibe is for a bar, you can find it. Restaurants and bars line the streets of Main Street. And on Main Street, you have over 100 shopping boutiques, independent shopping boutiques. We have a Best Buy, a Walmart, a Bed Bath & Beyond, a Home Depot, and a Whole Foods, and a TJ Maxx. And if you really want luxury shopping in Park City, like cruise up to Deer Valley or just do your shopping on Main Street, there's Gorsha's, there's Cole Sport. There are very high-end shops, but they're more towards Main Street. We also have an outlet mall. This used to be called the Tanger Outlet Mall. It was actually purchased by a real estate company out of Chicago. They've completely changed it. The pandemic destroyed this outlet mall, and there are a lot of vacancies in the space, and it's kind of turning more into a strip mall. Like, a tanning salon's going in there. I'm assuming they'll probably put hair salons in there, but it used to be like all outlet mall brand shopping, and now it's starting to be like gyms and little boutiques and furniture stores and a tanning salon. So it's kind of turning more into a strip mall. So I'm excited to see how that kind of morphs itself. They're also trying to put a Harmon's in over here. They want to put another grocery store in. And I even think maybe even some restaurants will go in there. They really need some food in this area. All right, so now to the cons, to the things that have changed. So I'm gonna be super honest with you. The traffic is horrendous. It is 10x what it was 2 years ago. It's terrible. And it's a problem and the city knows about it, but I don't know what's gonna happen. So just be prepared. Some days it feels like you're driving in Manhattan. The second con is that only 30% of homeowners in Park City are actually primary residences, meaning that 70% are actually, this is like their second home or their third home. The third con is that we're a tourist town. Park City is a tourist destination. So because of its reputation as a ski town, it really has its ups and downs. Tax revenues go up. In itself, that's a pro because it keeps our businesses prosperous and it goes directly into our city's economy, keeping us afloat. It gets around. Tourists are temporary by nature, but they end up coming here and then they end up going, wow, I like the slower pace of life, I like the friendliness, I like the convenience, and they end up wanting to move here. Facilities that we have actually enjoy better maintenance. So because of the amount of tourists that we have, the city maintains everything better, which then increases our property values. Development is very uneven. While tourism brings revenue to businesses, it tips the scales a little bit because they end up spending money to maintain the places where the most tourists are and go to visit. Over time, those attractions will look amazing while other areas will need upkeep. Of this is that if you live here, you're kind of contending with higher prices. So in peak seasons, you're paying more at restaurants, you're paying a higher the resort tax on things if you're shopping in town. They're created, but they're not necessarily high paying ones. Vail doesn't pay enough to have hardly any employees want to come work for them because they can't even find places to live here. Economy is really revolving around our tourism. If we don't have tourists come in, then that's a problem for our economy. Gas prices are pretty high in mountain towns. Groceries are higher, and depending on the area that you're shopping in, prices can really vary. So if you're shopping in town for groceries like the market, you're gonna be paying so much more if you were shopping out at Smith's at the Junction. Prices are through the roof. It costs $3.3 million just to live in town, and it costs $1.9 million to live in Snyderville Basin. There's zero affordable housing. If you want to buy into this market, you better have deep pockets and you better have cash and you better be a strong buyer because we're expensive. You've got HOA fees on top of master HOA fees, on top of transfer fees, on top of your closing costs, on top of assessments, things, and then you've got club memberships, property taxes. Our property taxes aren't too bad. If you're a primary resident, you're only paying 0.5, but if you are not a primary resident, you're paying 1.1. Nor the non-affordable housing really affects restaurants. It affects our ski resorts, it affects local businesses because nobody wants to work up here for $10 and drive from Salt Lake to Park City when gas is $4 a gallon. Because we have no affordable housing up here and half of our workers are coming from Heber, Colville, or Salt Lake, that's where we're getting all the traffic congestion. In the Basin, something to know, if you're like, we can't afford living in town, but we're gonna live in Jeremy Ranch, it could probably take you almost an hour to get to Park City if it's a holiday weekend, if it's a powder day, because of how congested we are. So be aware of that. You'll wanna leave your house at like 7:30. The seventh con is really the Epic Pass and the Icon Pass. I'm not a fan. It's drawn crowds, it's made us crazy, the traffic is horrible, and it's mainly just the long lines. It's not a great experience, and they are like, oh, we're making it affordable for everyone to come ski. Like, I understand that fact of the matter, but it's monopolized the ski industry and it's become like the Walmart of skiing. Like, I hate it. There's no special experience, and Park City has really struggled through the pandemic. They've had an incredibly hard time staffing their resort. They don't have enough people to groom it. They still have 2 chairs that are not unopened. Now, just to keep this in mind, this is an unusual year. Most of the time, Park City's been fantastic. It's just been the last 2 years. As housing prices increase, they can't staff the resorts because people aren't going to work for $10 and work 3 jobs just to pay $4,000 a month in rent in Park City and have 20 roommates. Like, it's just not a way of life. Like, you cannot live like that. Or you're driving from Salt Lake. It's a massive drive and gas prices are expensive. So when you're a local and you ski every day, this is literally a nightmare. If you don't ski all the time, not to fear, it's not as bad as I'm saying. It's only bad in the eyes of a local. Like, when you're coming here and you're only visiting for a few days, you could care less about everything I'm saying. You're gonna have a great time. And the 8th con is that there's actually an inversion starting to build up in the Heber Valley, similar to Salt Lake Valley, because people are so priced out of Park City that they're having to go to Heber, because Heber is what Park City prices used to be. In Heber, you have to commute to Park City or you have to commute to Salt Lake. So therefore, the majority of people are moving out there. That's where the bulk of the people are. Everything gets kind of socked in that Heber Valley, similar to Salt Lake. So the air quality is kind of getting an inversion in Heber now. Check out this video on best places to move to Park City. And again, my name is Nicole Bowdle, local real estate agent in Park City, Utah.